The Born to Win podcast highlights individuals excelling at high levels in their purpose and calling. This podcast is for anyone looking to get ahead in life and willing to take action and reach their full potential. Using C.H.A.M.P.S male mentoring model of the 3 E's, education, empowerment, and exposure, it means you too are born to win.
I'm born to win. Live. The Chefs from Chicago be screaming all that. You are now tuned in to the Born to Win podcast. Champion.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Born to Win podcast 2021. And we want to make sure that we prepare you for what's about to take place today. I have some very, very special guests from Sky Schools. We have the International Director of Sky Schools, Bill Herman, and staff members. Our professional development was amazing over the winter break with Sky Schools, where we're dealing with meditation, breathing. And so I'm just going to let Bill come in and just share why we're here tonight and what we're going to talk about tonight.
We're here to share it with you a little bit tonight, just what this journey is and how relevant it is to every young person, every adult, certainly in these times of COVID and in these times of stress. With all the craziness that's going on, people need some very simple tools how to manage their own minds and emotions and deal with their stress. So I'll pass it around to everybody else. And it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Preeti Gupta here. I am program coordinator for the Chicago Sky Schools program. And I also serve on the National Advisory Board for the Sky Schools. And professionally, I work in financial industry for over 24 years. My heart has been touched seeing the pain what the inner city Chicago youth goes through since the day I landed in this country, listening to the news that so many youth were shot. And I had just started my master's in computer science at University of Illinois at Chicago. And that instance changed my direction in terms of how I want to serve and lead my life. I started volunteering, teaching youth, and serving through the Chicago Power Lunch Reading Program, going to the schools, reading with the youth every other week, while working at the corporates and through the Chicago Summer Business Institute High School Mentoring Program. And very grateful that I came across Bill Herman, my mentor, in 2008. And it's been just so amazing to see how transformation this program has brought through. And very, very excited to see this program grow in Chicagoland and across the country and across the world.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. And we welcome you to the Born to Win podcast, where you are born to win in every situation in life. So thank you so much. And we really appreciate having, again, Sky Schools. They're doing some tremendous work, not just in the Chicago area, not just nationally, but internationally. That's what we're talking about, right? So this is really powerful.
My name is Beverly Walker, and I am the community coordinator for the Chicago area. And I learned about Sky Schools during a very hard time in my life, the loss of a child, an adult child. And it basically saved my life because I was in a depressed, sunken place. And I had no idea how I would come out of that sunken place. And when I went to the mountains in Boone, North Carolina to learn how to facilitate the program, I really was just there for show. And it took some simple words, give 100%, that motivated me to just give 100% because I felt like I had nothing to lose. You know, I was living on a whim already. And so this program is effective and it works. It works with my other children. It works with my siblings. And, you know, I'm telling you, it saved my life. I would not be up here talking about a program that wasn't worthy. So this program is worthy, it's validated. it works for me. And I have a 14 and a 15-year-old, and there was a lot of sibling rivalry with them. And this program and putting them through the program helped them to be able to get along with each other. They're like twins now, and it's not to say that they don't have their moments, but it's to say that they have tools to help them be better youth. So my mission in life is to make it so that all kids, all youth have access to these tools so that none of our youth have to go to prison. They can make decisions that are more responsible decisions, take accountability for their actions, and know the responses that they should give in given situations because they'll know how to manage their stress. So that's my ambition and that's my drive in life, is this program and getting it to children all over the world.
This is so awesome. And if you're listening and paying attention, we're not just talking about the problem today. Here we are, we're providing tools, resources, and solutions against the everyday problems that we have. And there's nothing like, and my condolences to you, Queen, in losing a child, a loved one like that. And we have to be able to manifest in a way where we're able to persist past some of these hurts, pains, and traumas that we have on a daily basis. And this is why this Born to Win podcast is so powerfully important today as we go into a new year, is that we want to unveil, release, right, into your hands the power of empowerment so that you can change and take the narrative back, right? You don't have to allow the day to push you around, circumstances and obstacles to push you around. So having said that, again, welcome to the Born to Win podcast. And last but definitely not least, we have Coach O.T. Welcome to the Born to Win podcast, good brother.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It is great to be in the facility of everyone. My name is Orlando Thomas, also known as Coach O.T. I am a physical education and wellness coach. I am also a schools teacher. I also am part of the team of Sky School Chicago. I also wear the hat and honor being a C.H.A.M.P.S male mentor in everything that we do. I will say that this component of Sky Schools has had both a profound and impact on my life, both professionally and we serve. Long story, Bill mentioned most of it, that was a meeting through his wife. I used to work at a no campus on the south side of, on the north side of Chicago, where I knew that when I started Comer College Prep, I wanted to have a PE program that was unique from anything in Chicago. Everybody was working out and everybody was doing health, but nobody was really focused on a holistic approach, having like meditation and yoga. And it was with Bill that said, hey, I do this program at another campus. And I looked at him and I benefits of it. And I said, you know, when are you starting with that campus? Because I'm with 6 weeks before them, because I see the impact that it has. And we became the school in Chicago for schools. And it's documented a lot of success came from that founding class. It led to the growth of schools in Chicago.
All right. Thank you, brother. We definitely appreciate listening to that introduction. And as some of you know, that I started off at Gary Comer College Prep. And that's how Coach O.T. and I became acquainted. We had mutual experiences in terms of educators, Black male color. We had an ambition to want to mentor and see the narrative change within our youth. And I remember a Soul Food Saturday meeting Bill for the first time, and he came on a panel. I don't know if you guys remember that. See, I got a great memory now. I got a great, going into 2021, I'm going to be snapping back things that helped me get to where I'm at. And so I'm going to just kind of open up the floor and give the space. And I want to pitch it back to Bill and just really share about like the introductory. How did Sky even develop into what it is today? I mean, could you elaborate and tell that story?
I don't know how far you want me to go back, but when I was, I could tell my personal story is that when I was 17, which was now 50 years ago, I'm a I'm a ripe old 68 years old right now. And so I had my heart broken. And when I got my heart broken, as many of us can attest, you feel all this contraction. Like, you know, I had gone from being a very happy 17-year-old in love as a senior in high school to being in the dumps, in the depths of despair. And that depths of despair, somehow I was open. When your heart is broken, it's like you're open. There's something open in there. And I decided that, or somebody came up and suggested all these things to me, what to do about my broken heart. And one of the things was to learn to meditate. And so I learned to meditate at the ripe age of 17. And I found that it opened up something amazing inside of me. And I've been doing it ever since. So I've had a regular meditation practice for 50 years. And then when I started doing this breathing technique about 20 years later, I found that it's actually easier to breathe than it as a way to get into a meditative state than it is just to sit down and meditate. And so I started doing that breathing, and I've been actually, I was a high school teacher for a long time, for about 20 years. And that, you know, that was amazing because I love teaching. I love being with kids, and I love inspiring young people. I actually taught photography and art. And those two disciplines taught me that the most important thing is to inspire young people. If they're not inspired, then I haven't given them anything. And so my purpose was to inspire them. And I realized that to inspire them to be able to learn something that they can live a better life, that they can have a mind that's absolutely free from stress, and to manage their own emotions and all those things, in a way, that's the most relevant thing that I can give young people. So we started doing this program actually back in 2003 or so, like that. And before there even was a Yes program, we started doing this with young people. I received a challenge from the president or the CEO of the Chicago Public Schools at that time to go out to the west side of Chicago and transform the what's it called, Austin High School, which doesn't exist anymore actually. And this was the year before they broke it down. And I went out there and I tried to talk to the principal, and the guy was so stressed out that he couldn't even talk about stress. He was in a war zone. And that's a little bit of the history of this thing. It started like that. And finally, I ended up getting into a Chicago high school and starting to do the program. And I did a few things, but when we got really serious, really started moving into schools, that's when I met Orlandis, and we started to do the program at on the south side of Chicago. And that's where it really kicked in. And that was 12 years ago. And we've been going strong ever since. We have about 4 major areas in the United States, the New York, New Jersey area, the Los Angeles area, the San Francisco Bay, and Chicago and Milwaukee. And those are the 4 areas that we've been really strong in. And there's other areas that are actually embracing this, DC and various places around North Carolina and Georgia are interested. There's a lot of places that are starting to go, but we started promoting it also in Mexico and Brazil and Argentina. And we have a teacher training coming up right now with 12 Latin American countries that are represented, because these countries, Mexico, we connected with the state government, the actual state of Mexico, which is the area surrounding Mexico City. They have 4.8 million students, and they are building it in so that they can train enough teachers to teach everybody. And the similar thing is happening in Brazil, in the state of Bahia, where capoeira comes from, and a lot of the culture of Brazil actually comes from the state of Bahia. And they have also adopted the program to be building it in. In the country of Ecuador, the Minister of Education has adopted this program to go to the whole country, especially that's the most recent country. So we've got a huge range of application for this, because basically anybody that has a need to manage their mind and their emotions, which I would say is everybody, to manage their stress in healthy ways, everybody can use this. And especially during this COVID time, when there's so much insecurity and so much people are depressed and they don't know where to turn, they don't know what the future brings, the economy is in trouble, having some way to manage your own mind and your own stress is so relevant. So, Vondale, you got to experience this program the last couple weeks.
Yes.
And I know the light went on, and because when you do this breathing, most people think, breathing, I've been breathing my whole life. Right. So what's the big deal about breathing? Well, actually, there's a secret hidden in there, because breathing is the most intimate connection we have to life. If you think about food or sleep or any of the sources of energy that we have, right? Breathing is the most intimate connection, meaning I can go 2 weeks maybe without food, or maybe 4 or 5 days without water, maybe 2 or 3 days without sleep. But how long can I go without breath? Right? Maybe 5 minutes, and then everything starts to shut down. So breath has a very strong connection to our very life. And the life is built into us all. And we have this thing we could call consciousness or awareness that's inside of us that we're not even aware of, because we're caught up in all the changing drama of the world. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So one of the analogies about, like, the interesting analogy that we just used in that course that you saw a couple weeks ago about a hurricane. Yeah. Life is like a hurricane that's moving around and around, and yet there's a center that's absolutely still, that's absolutely peaceful within each of us. And it's always there. No matter what drama you're going through, there is a peaceful place inside. And somehow the breath is the way we can get there. Now, this might sound very abstract to somebody who's listening in on this podcast who doesn't have any idea what I'm talking about, but you have to experience certain types of rhythmic breathing practices in order to get to that peaceful center. And that peaceful center is where the happiness resides. It's where all the joy in life is. It's where the love is. And it's always in us. It's not somewhere else. We don't have to go looking for it in Mexico or in any place around the world. We can just look inside, and somehow closing our eyes and doing some breathing actually takes us there.
Yeah.
So it's something you have to experience. And as Beverly was saying, as Preeti was saying, as OT was saying, it's a life-changing experience when you just turn your vision inward, and you find that there's a world inside of you that is so rich.
Yeah, this is really powerful stuff, and I want to open up the floor to our Sky staff that are here, and if you can just share maybe one or two experiences on why this works, why this is important, and just some of the impact that you've seen.
Well, I'll go first. I know this is impactful personally, on a personal level. I've shared some of it, but the other part of it is when it comes to weight. What happens is when we do this breathing, we clear cortisol out of our brains. And that's tied to the flight or fight mode that we have. And so when I was over 125 pounds heavier than what I am right now. And that when I did go to Boone to learn these practices, and I decided to give 100% to these practices and started doing this breathing, and the depression started to clear up, I realized that all this money I had given to Slim Fast, Jenny Craig, and Weight Watchers, I figured this was something that I could do myself. And so I ended up losing about 140 pounds, but I just had a miscarriage. So I did put on some weight for that. But, I'm not worried about getting that weight back off again, because I've done it once and, I can do it again. And so it's a mindset, as we've been saying over and over again. Doing this breathing takes you to another place, because even with that, I know I could be down, I could be sad and depressed about the miscarriage, I could be, down and upset about COVID. I just buried my auntie today.
Oh,
Funeral was
wow.
at 12 o'clock.
Condolences to you and to your family.
But she's not the only one. I've lost 10 people since March in my family due to COVID. So 10, she made the 10th person, and just buried her today. But I'm still able to be here because I have to stay grounded. And what keeps me grounded is this breathing that I'm doing. And I don't have to go and tell everybody and get a whole bunch of attention and I'm sorry's and all of that. I know what it takes for myself. Those things don't help. They may be okay on the surface and you definitely appreciate it. But if you don't deal with what's going on inside of you, if you don't know how to get to the root of your own inner peace, then you're just in the midst of this hurricane that Bill was talking about. You're floating around with all of the houses and the trees and everything else, and you're just there. You're in existence, but there's no purpose. So, I know that when I do my breathing in the morning, it grounds me and it helps me be productive throughout the entire day. So I made sure that I did my breathing and meditated extremely long today because I knew that when I went amongst my family that, there would be a pull to be emotional. And I'm not saying it's okay to be emotional. You do what you need to do to express your emotions. But for me, I didn't need to do that for them at that time. It's something that I can do personally for myself and be strong for my kids and my family. And being that I am, the matriarch of the family now,
Wow.
I know how to deal with my own stuff, as they say. So knowing how to do that, and there's nobody, all of the older people in my family have been passing away. So there's nobody else for me to go to. So I had to stay grounded in myself. And this helps me do that, and it gives me this inner peace that you just would not even believe, and it's a difficult thing because people are losing loved ones. Somebody's situation is worse than mine. Somebody has lost more people than I have. Somebody almost died themselves. You still have to deal with all of those things. Those are all emotions that are just burning to come out, and they can come out in the wrong way or in the right way. And that's why it's important that we teach kids how to deal with this, because what ends up happening is they go for, let's go steal this car. Let's go do this and let's go do that. Or peer pressure. Come on, let's go do this, let's go do that. And not knowing how to stand up for themselves and be grounded in who they are and what their home training has been. So that's why, this is so important, because it taps into that and helps you understand who you really are. So Jenny Craig ain't got nothing on me right now.
I know that's
I'm
right.
not into those things. So this is just something that's completely effective. And like I said, I don't stamp approve things that are not worthy of stamp approval, but this is worthy of stamp approval. And I know that the last time that I met you, we had Coach OT's son on there, and I was explaining to my son that his son came on, and he said, "You should have had me down there." So these kids are happy to have these tools once they have them, because it's not no medicine. It's free. It's something that you got yourself. It's something that nobody can take from you. It's yours. And once you acknowledge and they receive this gift that you have within yourself and don't take it for granted, then you have your tools. You can stand up for yourself. You know how to be proud of yourself. You can encourage yourself, and all of these different things, these positive attributes are
Button proof. I
things
see you.
that great, right. So that's what it's all about for me. And, I don't know. It's not anything bad that I can say about this because it's just teaching you how to be the best possible you. And I love that. I love what I see in my kids.
Mm.
And you don't understand once kids lose somebody that they love, sometimes they don't know how they think it's their fault.
Mm.
And, there's just not enough psychiatrists for children out here in the Midwest. It's just not they're not there. And so I had to learn how to be that for my kids, and this embrace that and I was able to give them these tools so they have what they need so that they can deal with that because it's a loss for them too.
Mm-hmm. 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 Well, wow. I mean, that's a whole episode. Like I heard so many things that I can kind of tag along, but I think you spoke about something that really kind of hit me. And you said, being able to deal with your own stuff. And I think as we come back around to this, I'm sure everyone that's listening or watching have had a loss due to COVID. This year in 2020 has been one of the most unpredictable years, if not of our lifetime. And for us to still be here in this space, I think, to just really take a step back and say, man, I've endured. If it didn't affect you directly, I guarantee this has affected you indirectly. And so how do you center yourself and deal with those realities and the stuff and the emotions and just the things that we see on TV, the things that we hear, family members impacted and affected? So we have other staff members, and I surely want to open up the floor for them to share about the impact of Sky.
I'll go ahead. And I want to piggyback on what Beverly said. You have those situations in life that cause these emotional experiences. Like this teaches you how to get to a place where you allow those emotions to be, right? And like I said, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to have, it's okay to do that. And there's a point that we talked about that says whatever you resist, it persists, right? But the way it connects to the hurricane is that what happens is when we're in that grief mode, we get so consumed by that hurricane that we allow that grief to we resist it. We stay in that grief mode and we don't allow that emotion to pass. The ability of the breathing allows us to get back to that center piece that we're talking in the midst of that storm. And once we get to that center, it says it's okay to grieve, but it's also okay to let that grief pass. It's okay to cry, to have those emotions, but it allows us to pass and come back to the center of where we are. And that's the part where we need to get to, and we use the power of the breath that allows us to do that instead of, like you said, Bev, making a reaction out of emotions, out of fear, out of anxiety, or leading to another path of direction that's based off of these deeper emotions that it could lead to. So just like I said, I've seen it, the power of this professionally, personally, all over the place. And Bill and I, we were talking in a meeting that we have every Monday. He's kind of my Monday person normally during the year. And it wasn't until 2015 till I went to my teacher session in a training session in Dominican Republic that I was teaching it to kids to that point, but I hadn't saw how it connected to me. And the best analogy that Bill and I had, I said, it was almost like, and Vondale, I know you can attest to this, it was like when Moses came off the mountain with the tablets, right?
Oh, yeah.
Bill and I talked about, I said, and that was my Moses moment, literally. Like when I saw the connection that it had to me, it helped me portray it and teach it better the second wave between 2015 to now, even better than I was teaching it 2009 and 2015, because there was a connection to it where I could speak to it from, this is what it looked like for me. And that first year coming back to Comer, it was like we were doing it in 2016. All of a sudden, all these teachers are like, why are these kids coming to relax to class? Or why aren't you getting upset with things that would have got you upset? And my best story with this, and I'm gonna try to keep it short. Bill had just finished teaching the whole session. We were going someplace, and in the midst of our travels in the Dominican Republic, he literally had his laptop stolen, right? Like literally had his laptop stolen. In that moment of any time when anybody would have flipped out, whatever, I watched my mentor practice everything I just saw for 8 days. That moment there was like the hook, line, and sinker for me. I was like, I mean, it was an immediate turnaround. Like, I didn't see him get upset. I just saw this whole calm person. I told him this because I had a situation where I had that same year, that fall, I had my iPad stolen. And I was around these PE teachers and they saw I didn't flip out, didn't get calm, whatever. Cause I had that modeled. I saw I saw how to handle that. And just that year, teachers start coming up to my classroom and seeing this meditation that these kids are doing, and it just made it a part of mindfulness and just kids are meditation, because you know how important this is for youth in this time is impactful, because education tends to, like, we want to work and grind kids out for grades and scores and all that, but we don't take the time to give their time to check on their mental state. And how do we, like, relax the brain? How do we recharge the brain? How do we recharge the mind, body, spirit for that? We don't do that. We don't build those things in, which that was very important for me to do. So my career has transitioned from this fitness, this hip hop aerobics guy, to the last like 5-6 years. It's the whole holistic mind, body, soul, like emotional, mental wellness for our youth, because you have to start there. Like, in order to get all of the other benefits that you can for a complete mind, body, spirit, and a well-rounded person and just human being. And go back in education and remind educators that kids are human beings, right? There is not just this student-teacher dictatorship. They're human beings, just like you want to be treated. Like, you have to start with that. In order for that, you have to have a same respect and mindset that, like, you have to care about them like you would care about yourself. It's not like I care about myself any different because I'm 40 and they're 18, right?
Right.
Once we break that mold and that mindset, the whole education, the whole holistic experience for students and their experience in schools will be so much better, which is why this piece of it should be the most integral foundational part of it to lead to social emotional growth, to lead to academic growth. Like, you have to start with their well-being, because in the right mind frame, any student can do anything that's possible. But if the right mind frame isn't there because of all these other things and you refuse to tackle it, that's what leads to results. So that's what I've seen out of it.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And again, I want to piggyback on something. And Beverly kind of brought it out when she brought your son up. On day 2, you had your son come in during our professional development, guys. This is why this is important. So those who are running organizations, schools, businesses, corporations, this is why you need to tap in. And we're going to put and provide the link on the screen so that way you can connect directly and inquire about how to set up some staff development and professional development. This is important. Are y'all listening to me? This is very important. This is critical. This could be life or death. And I truly believe that mental health, all is well. And these are conversations because everybody is experiencing something. But everybody's consistent way of handling these experiences are not the same. However, we have a blueprint here. And we can give some tools and we can provide some resources to help you manage these emotions. Then we can get more consistent responses that I believe will yield positive results. But going back to your son, Coach, that was a powerful moment, sir. Can you just talk briefly about why did you do what you did by having your son come on? And you didn't prep him. You didn't give him a script and say, hey, son, read this. Make me look real good. No, you brought him on and it was very powerful and personable. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, like I said, one of the things that this process for me with my journey, it's done a lot of self-reflection. as me as a person, as me as a teacher, educator, but especially as a father and a husband, right? And just like any parent, when you have, kids and teenagers, you have ups and downs with kids, right? You have that, and for a good portion of those early adolescent years, my oldest and I, whew, like we had that confrontational back and forth, but it was basically because it was a generational mindset that I grew up with, that you're going to listen to me because I told you so. You're going to do this because I told you so. You're going to do this because, like, it was this dictator parenting mindset, and it's generational. It was just totally generational, and we were just bumping heads and bumping heads. And after a while, teenagers get to a point of like, I told you so, isn't it? I need to this generation, like, I need to know why, right? And I had to like look at myself and practice what I've been teaching for years, right? To all my other students, and look at myself and say, it wasn't him that was doing anything wrong. It was my approach to like how I was parenting him, to saying that our point that respect goes two ways. Like I had to, I couldn't look at him like I'm a hierarchy, you're the father, or I'm the father and he's the son. And say he's a human being just like I am. And the same qualities that I want to display, the same human values that I want to display to everybody else in the world, I need to be pouring that into this same person, because what he sees me model impacts how he's going to do that. And in order for that generational curse to be broke, it starts with me to model what should be done. And within the last 2 years, I can't tell you how much our relationship has took a 180. And it is one of the most incredible things to watch and see. And me, it's just been transformational. It's like you said, I didn't prep him or anything, because I think that's important for especially a Black male father, right? To say it's okay to be in tune with your emotions, and it's okay to evaluate yourself as a male and still root yourself to these human values, and say that it's okay to use practices like the power of the breath, like meditation, like yoga, like those things, to get yourself into a place where you can display the qualities that are human values, not just of just being a Black male, but just of anybody. You're coming to the root of, you're getting these labels, and it's like, how do I want to treat another person, regardless of age, regardless of color, regardless of race? Like, and you have to start that. If you're doing that in your house, you're planting that seed of model behavior, of the right human values, to what you put out, so that now you're making a generation better, right? And that's what I had to look at me. Like, there's so many times you could hit the wall. I was resisting how I was taught. I was resisting how I was raised. Like I said, that's going to be the blueprint. There's nothing else for it. That's going to be the blueprint. There's nothing else for that. And it wasn't working, right? So when I was channeling all my energy onto him, I had to close my eyes and channel it internally on me. And that's a hard thing to do. I said in our session, like, complaining and moaning and groaning, it is nothing but it has to do with like self-reflection. And that is a hard thing for people to do.
Yes.
To self-reflect and really like take ownership of how you are. But what you can do is say, once you take that ownership and take the tools and resources to make you better, then be that change. Be the person that's better, and model it, not just say it, model it. And that's all I did. I just started modeling what I've been teaching. I've been great at teaching it to students, but I had to apply it in my own house. And once I did, the dynamics of me as a father, not just for him, but for my other two older kids, like for my wife, like he doesn't have to raise his voice. He doesn't do this. Like, he's just so calm and mannered. He doesn't stress about stuff. If he does, it's like he shortens it, and like it just helps you walk through life better. It's that ability, literally, is having the tools to how quick can you drain the cortisol so that you can get back to what the prefrontal cortex is meant to do, right? Having that's all this is, right? Is how fast can you use the breath? Like Bill said, something that is just that minute and simple to get you back to the center of who you are supposed to be, not to be in a temporary state of that what doesn't represent who you are.
Mm. Love it. Love it. Preeti or Bill, did you guys
I
add?
Yeah, I echo. The biggest thing is being able to come in the present moment, come what may. This is what these breathing techniques do. This year has been the hardest for me, for personally. Our my husband. It's just been a 1 year anniversary since he just transcended to heaven,
Wow.
and I could not imagine how I can be just finding so much of inner strength and being, resilient to do everyday things what I love, be it my job professionally in financial industry, or be serving through the Sky Schools program, or with my children, my own children, 17-year-old son and 20-year-old daughter. I think these techniques, have brought so much more meaning, and being in that space of gratitude, like gratitude for this breath. I think that's just so we don't realize it, that how precious it is, and how it impacts our emotions, our deepest emotions, how it really transforms that. Like, you may have noticed that every emotion has a breath pattern linked to it, right?
Mm.
And like when we're happy, there's like a, very smooth breath. When we're sad, there's a sighness. When we get angry, there is a puffiness. Similarly, through the breath, we can transform our emotions. And that I see over and over and over again. And for me, I came in this program like in 2008, and that time I was actually diagnosed with herniated disc around
Mm.
C6, C7, being in technology, typing on the laptops,
Yeah.
And that was, I had already gone through 6 months of physical therapy.
Mhm.
And I was told not to do yoga, no dancing, which were my, like favorite hobbies. And the transformation, what these breathing techniques brought, were not only just the physical level, like really tackling the psychosomatic conditions and relaxing the nervous system, but also that inner peace and inner joy, that I started volunteering so much more that I was actually given the award by President Barack Obama for my volunteering efforts, and president of CEO of Bank of America.
Wow.
I credit like this work, what we are doing, reaching out to the inner city youth, or actually I would say every youth.
Yeah.
It's so essential. We cannot have our youth being asked to shove a lot of knowledge if their mind is stressed out. It's
Yeah.
like if my glass is full with something, and if till I don't empty it out, I will not be able to taste something new.
Mm.
So this is what we are doing through these breathing techniques. We are allowing ourselves to clear our mind. And I say this is the best chocolate for the morning, or it's like going in the, your the washing machine, washing off your mind, body, soul, literally.
Yes, literally and figuratively. And the powerful thing about
Yes.
it is anyone can do it. Anyone can tap into this. And this is not for the sophisticated. It's not for the wealthy, the rich, just the white, the privileged. This is for everyone. That's what's powerful about what we're sharing today. So with that, if you can just kind of share, Bill, and whoever would like to share as we get ready to close out, any practical advice as we are embarking upon a new year, 2021, any tips, any techniques that we can share with our listening audience?
The breath is a physiological mechanism that we all are using all the time. And all we have to do is whisper, hello. And when I do that, I'm actually engaging, that whispering is engaging the throat. Hello. I'm not using my vocal cords. I'm really just pushing air from the throat. Ah. And then if I close my mouth, So it's coming out of my nose, but it's really the center, my attention's coming from the throat. So then I'm going to breathe in from that same place. So I'm pulling and pushing the breath from the throat. Then I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to continue to make that sound as if I'm whispering. And as I'm breathing like that, do it very softly. You don't have to strain. You don't have to force. You just have identified that muscle, and we're pulling in and pushing out. It's all coming in and out through the nose. We're making it sort of a gentle sound, like a whispering sound. And then with the eyes closed, we're going to normal breath. Go back to normal, regular breath with no effort. Just observe how the breath goes by itself. It's a silent, normal breath, regular breath. And then go back to that slight effort from the throat. We're pulling and pushing the breath very gently, very softly. Again, going back to silent breathing, normal, regular breathing, keeping the eyes closed. All our attention is on the breath, but it's just normal breath right now. And then go back to making that slight effort, pulling and pushing the breath, making that sound. We call it victory breath. It's kind of like an ocean sound, ocean waves in the distance. And again, return back to normal breathing. And then when you're ready, you can open the eyes. And if you followed along with that, and you've actually engaged those muscles in the throat, what we've done is we've engaged the vagus nerve, which is a nerve that runs from the brain all the way through the various organs in the body. If you look up, go to Google and put vagus nerve in there or vagal tone, you're going to see enormous research that's been done on this. And it really, just by using the throat, by triggering that muscle, that area in the throat, you're literally bringing yourself into a state of absolute calm and peacefulness. And it works for everybody. I mean, I have the sort of the most difficult job in the world because, I mean, I see that this works for everybody. And yet I know that there's millions of people out there that are waiting for this.
Yes.
So that's why I say this is the most difficult job, because I go out there and I teach this to people, and consistently, no matter who they are, no matter what country or what their education level, their economic level, their skin color, their religion, anything, the breath works for them. And there's thousands and millions and billions of people out there that could benefit from this all the time. So that's why I felt that schools was such an important way to teach this, through schools and social service agencies on a massive scale. People are waiting for this. And so this breathing technique is something that you can use right now. You can do it tonight before you go to sleep and see how it affects your sleep patterns. So it's a very simple technique, and I just wanted to share that with everyone.
Again, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and give everyone maybe 30 seconds to close out. Any last words? And then, Bill, we'll have you follow up with that. If you could just let everyone know how they can get in contact with Sky Schools. How can they reach you? What's your website? Any social media handles you guys want to share?
So, each individual consumes like about 4 pounds of food, 2.5 liters of water, and breathes 10,000 liters of air every day. But did you know that 90% of our nutrition comes through air? And this affects our brain and our endocrine system. And in addition, more than 90% of our toxins are eliminated through the breath. So these breathing techniques and breathing patterns, they play a very, very important role, and they affect our observation, perception, and expression. So as we lead into the new year, I would say that, let's spread the joy of this breath to each and every individual around, and, cherish the inner happiness and resilience, and serve everyone. Happy New Year.
Love it. Let's keep it going.
Yep. I would say, as a fitness and wellness person, is that wellness isn't just about eating the right foods, right? It isn't just about physical activity and being fit. It's the other key component to that is your mental and emotional wellness. So, and you have to have all three in order to be right in mind, body, spirit, and soul. And if you aren't practicing anything that puts your mind and your mental state in the right position to fulfill whatever purpose that you have in life, like I would say, use 2021 to invest in some type of wellness program, okay? Some type of mental, emotional wellness, some type of meditation, some type of mindfulness, so that you can have the clarity, have the direction, the guidance that you need to fulfill whatever your intended purpose to be in life. And like I said, why not invest in the power of the breath? So use 2021 to invest mentally and emotionally into yourself.
I love it. Love it. All right, let's keep it going. Who's next?
I would like to say how powerful you would be as a human being if you gave 100% of yourself when you do everything that you do. The difference is if you're drinking coffee or tea or anything and it's watered down, it's not 100%. Would you like things in life to be watered down, or would you like things in life to be full strength, 100%? And when you're reaching for something, especially something that'll impact you and your inner being, you want it to impact you at 100%. So give 100%. Look us up. We have a course coming up January the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. It's a 3-day course. We require you to be there all 3 days. And you can go to http://tiny.cc/OEH7TZ. And we'll get that to you again. But to register for that course, and we would love to have you there. We love to share this information with you. So we're just asking you to give 100%, do something that's going to impact you at 100%.
I love it.
Yeah. The website of the organization is skyschools.org, and that's where people can find out about the work that we do. Like I said, this is something that everybody can find some benefit from. And so just, I think if you've heard everybody's stories, we really we're here because we're all here for the right reasons. I think you can see the passion in each one of us that is here representing this work that we do. And so we look forward to meeting you. And those human values Orlandis was talking about, these are the things that make human beings successful in life. Things like respect, he's talking about, responsibility and commitment. Those values that are age-old values, that's what this program really brings out. Simply by releasing our stress, we can express those values much better. So we look forward to seeing you sometime on a program.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in to another Born to Win podcast. Look, we going into 2021. Mark my words, winning. Did you hear what I just said? So all this information will be put on the screen. I need for you to go to the website, skyschools.org, and make sure you make this a priority. Don't put it off, right? Because when you put this off, all of the areas in your life are going to be put off, right? It's going to impact other areas of your life. Listen to what I'm saying, right? So that's why we invested in Sky School. That's why we wanted to make it a priority for our C.H.A.M.P.S staff and our partners to get the training. And that's just only the beginning. So we connected now, and we're going to continue down this path. So again, we want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Born to Win podcast. And remember, share this with someone you love. This could save someone's life. Thank you once again.
Thank you for listening to the Born to Win podcast. Would you consider making a donation to C.H.A.M.P.S? We are looking to provide senior class care packages and other essential items like food, hygiene, and toiletries for the families of our C.H.A.M.P.S mentees. You can donate via Cash App at $CHAMPS Mentoring or PayPal at paypal.me/CHAMPS Mentoring. Or you can always visit our webpage, champsmentoring.com, and click on the donate button. Thank you.